Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another Facebook Live with the Environmental Learning Centers of Connecticut. We are here on the Indian Rock Nature Preserve down in the Terra Lab, where we have our reptiles, amphibians, and some of our insects, our invertebrates, temporarily housed, normally at the Barnes Nature Center. And today's topic, we're going to do a spotlight on the Madagascar hissing cockroaches. So right now the tank looks pretty empty. This is our female tank, so there's all girls in here. But right now, if we just flip over their little hide, there are many females and young Madagascar hissing cockroaches, we would call them nymphs, in this tank. They were all hiding under their little log just to take some shelter. It's a nice dark space when it's flipped down. These are a nocturnal animal. Nocturnal, being that they prefer to be active at night. So when it's flipped down, it gives them a nice, secure, dark place to sleep. But for our program this morning, we're going to flip them up just so we can get a nice look at them. The Madagascar hissing cockroaches get their name from where they come from. So Madagascar, these guys are from the island of Madagascar. That's off the coast of Africa. And these cockroaches, they are insects. So to be a part of the insect class, they've got to have a few body parts. We see they're crawling all around. They're using 6 legs to get around. 6 legs. Insects have 6 legs, and the Madagascar hissing cockroach is no exception. We're going to take a closer look at their legs when we look at our male and female together in just a few moments. 6 legs, though. These guys also have 3 main sections to their body. We'll flip it over. Everybody went to the other side. We've got a head, a chest area, we're going to call that a thorax, and an abdomen. Again, we're going to get closer with these body parts when we compare our male to our female. But the Madagascar hissing cockroach, since they're in a big group like this, we're going to call that a colony. It's a colony of cockroaches. And where they love to hang out in the wild on the island of Madagascar, and when you have an enclosure for them when they're your pet, is they love humidity. Out in the wild, they love forest floors. So they prefer to be under leaf litter, fallen logs, forest floor. They've got this nice, shiny, oval brown body. And they really get the name hissing cockroach because that's the noise they make. So throughout this video, we'll see if anyone makes a noise. But they get the name hissing cockroach because that's the noise they make. And they make this noise for a variety of reasons. Okay, the first is going to be defense. They're going to try to avoid predators, defend their territories, and hissing to other animals might sound a little scary. They're going to try and scare away predators. They're also using hissing for communication, courtship, and mating. So they hiss by pushing air through their body. They have essentially air holes on the sides of their body that they're using to hiss. A lot of other insects create noise by rubbing their body parts together, like crickets and their legs. We can see what we're feeding them in captivity. We feed them a variety of fruits and vegetables. We will give them some dog food in captivity. This is grapes. We'll give them lettuce and carrots, kind of whatever we have of produce. Out in the wild, they're going to eat plant debris, decomposing materials, and fallen fruit. But we're going to turn our attention to, I brought out 2 adult cockroaches, 1 male, 1 female, so we can learn about the difference between the 2. Because as an insect species, this is a species where the male and female look different, so we can tell them apart. So we have 1 female. I'll catch her. They're both similar in size, 2.5 to 3 inches in length, about a 1 inch wide. We can really see those antennas. So being an insect, they have antennas to communicate, to feel their surroundings. We'll see. The male's a little calmer, so we'll be able to see his legs. So we can see all 6 legs of the hissing cockroach, making them an insect. But the males and females are a little different because the males will fight each other for their territories. And to do that, they have what we think of being horns. So on the male's head, right behind their head, we see these 2 big projections. So they use those to ram other males for territory rights. If we check out the female again, she doesn't really have those big projections behind her head. So the males and females do look different in this species. For the sake of controlling our population, we have separated all of our males from our females, so they're in 2 separate tanks. And the female, after they have bred, the female will hold an egg sac within her. And she will have up to about 60 nymphs, young insect cockroaches. The nymphs are small, so think about the size of your fingernail. And they will begin to grow. Remember, these adults are between 2.5, 3 inches long. So they will grow by molting. Molting is essentially they're shedding their exoskeleton. The nymphs, when they shed their exoskeleton, they'll be all white for a little bit, and then they'll harden up that exoskeleton, look brown, and they'll do this about 6 times until they are an adult. As an adult, they no longer will molt. We've got a few examples here. So here's my thumb in comparison to the size of a young Madagascar hissing cockroach. These are just the molts. So they'll do this about 6 times before they are an adult. They are excellent climbers. They have plier-like feet. So they can really grip on smooth surfaces like we see here, but really going over logs and up trees as well. But these animals play a very important role in their ecosystem because they are decomposers. So remember, they're eating a lot of fallen fruit, rotting plant matter, so they are decomposers. They're helping to kind of recycle all of the nutrients back into their environment. But they also play a great role because many animals eat insects. So they are a great food source as well to other animals. At the Barnes Nature Center, sometimes we feed nymphs, the babies, to our lizards or our big frogs. These cockroaches do not harm people. They're no danger to people. And the Madagascar hissing cockroach is a very common pet to have. They're easy keepers. If you have a large colony, they might eat one whole carrot in a day. But so long as you provide them coverage, whether it be leaves or bark or some sticks and some humidity, they're very easy keepers to have as pets. And they're one of the animals that if they do escape, they don't survive in your house. So this is not a cockroach that would infest your house. We go back to the tank. Here's our male's tank. So we have fewer males than we do females. And everybody's hiding again, so we can get a look at some of our young. So all the smaller ones, those are the nymphs that have molted a few times, but are still growing. Even though they look bulky, they can fit very easily into tight spaces. So this piece of bark has a lot of holes and little nooks and crannies that they can fit into to hide. And you can really think about, even though we have a bunch of them here and we can easily see them, since they're so small, and if this was a real tree, you can imagine how hard that would be to spot. So that brown color also is great for camouflaging. So when the cockroaches are young, those nymphs, it's hard to tell whether they're male or female. But once they have their final molt, that final shedding of their exoskeleton, we can determine if they're male or female, and then we separate them out. This is why we only see the adult males in this tank. Since these guys are nocturnal, we're going to let them go for now, so they can go back to sheltering and resting. Thanks for tuning in this morning on the Environmental Learning Centers of Connecticut Facebook page for our spotlight on the Madagascar hissing cockroaches. As always, if you have a question or an environmental topic that you would like us to cover, you can always comment below on this video or message our Facebook page. From our Madagascar hissing cockroaches and me, we hope you have a good weekend. And as always, the Barnes Nature Center trails are open, sunrise to sunset, 7 days a week. Thanks for tuning in this morning, and we will be back on Monday at 10 a.m.